Hi everybody, it's Dr. 𝙄𝙤𝙛𝙡𝙢𝙢𝙢 here from Rhythm of Life Chiropractic, and today I want to talk to you about a very common cause of headaches. Many people wonder, like, why is this headache coming on out of the blue? Like, I didn't get injured, nothing very obvious happened, and all of a sudden I get this pounding headache. Everything hurts throughout my head, front, back, top, sides, wherever. It could be all over, it could be one area or the other. And one of the very common causes is inflammation. And inflammation is basically something that could be generated elsewhere in the body. It could be generated in the brain, but many times it's a general full body type of a problem that can lead to an overactive inflammatory response, in particular in the brain. Inflammation is a process that is activated and controlled by the immune system. So when the immune system gets into that mode of producing excess inflammation, then wherever that is happening, it's a destructive activity. Inflammation is actually something that's part of repair and breakdown. And like if you sprain your ankle, you know how your ankle would swell up. Well, that's inflammation. That's a necessary process in order to allow your body to clear out the debris from the ankle sprain and then to reattach and reconnect things so that it's good and strong. Too often we want to suppress inflammation and not let that ankle swell up or not let things inflame. That is one issue. But then on the other side, we have a really, in our society, in the United States and in many first world countries, we have a ton of issues with regard to inflammation that is in overdrive. And what are the things that drive inflammation in the brain and in general? Well, many times it's diet. We're exposed to things that are toxic to us that would kick off our immune system response. There are things like gluten and dairy. So people are like, oh, why is gluten all of a sudden such a problem? And why is dairy a problem? People have been recommending that for good calcium and for strong bones for so long. Like, why is it all of a sudden a problem? Well, I think we're becoming more and more aware, more refined in our testing and our ability to figure out like why certain bodies are responding, and especially why in our population it's happening more and more. The reality is that this has a cumulative effect where it starts to just kind of like peak a little bit at a time. The immune system gets a little more aggravated, and that starts to create some little openings and inflammation in the gut, where 70 to 80%, depends on who you talk to, of the immune system lives. So in the gut area and in those intestinal tracts where those walls are supposed to have tight junctions where nothing can come in, we start to see inflammation happen. Inflammation allows, there's a gap to form in between the cells that line the intestine, which allows these toxins and or proteins like a gluten molecule to come into the bloodstream. What we know is that because of the gut-brain connection, we have inflammation that would happen in the gut will also lead to the same chemistry and activity in the brain and elsewhere in the body. So what often happens in the gut is happening in the brain due to that gut-brain connection. So it's really, really important that we address systemic inflammation causes, which many times can be due to, like I said, toxins or certain foods like gluten and dairy. And many times people get inflamed as a result of injury too. So concussions can also lead to inflammation and an abundant repair response in the brain, especially that would be abundant if you're already inflamed to begin with. So think about a fire that you just added more kerosene or more gasoline to, right? More gas on the fire is going to make that fire even bigger. And it's important to get these things under control so that, first of all, so that you obviously feel better and your headaches can get addressed. But in the long term, additional fires breaking out leads to more destruction and more damage to whatever part of the body that it's happening in. So I encourage you to click below, reach out to us for some help. These are problems that I personally have lived through and overcome, and I'd love to be able to be a part of your solution. So look forward to seeing you.